6:30 p.m. Cameroon time, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching my media prime television live from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Von Quinta, and this is Prime News. We begin this news with this accident that has claimed the lives of at least 4 persons in Gandere at the Mawa region of Cameroon. Reports say a bus belonging to the NA agency overturned at the Gandere cliff, leaving several passengers injured, while 4 others died. Investigation is on the way to establish to determine the cause of the accident. Now, examiners in the southwest region have been urged to maintain and improve the standard of education in Cameroon. The call was made by Secondary Education Minister Professor Pauline Alova during the launch of the 2021 marking of GCE scripts. Details with Clarice Ekowe from Boya.
This visit by the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova, to the campus of Bilingual Grammar School Moliko Boya, where she met with these examiners of the Cameroon GCE board, was to launch the 2021 marking of GCE scripts.
Examiners are very seasoned people, and they know exactly what we expect of them. And that's why the registrar and the board chair, they are here to give those minute details.
During this meeting, Minister Nalova appreciated the teachers for the successful organization of the written phase of the 2021 GCE before reminding them on their roles in upholding the high-quality standard of learning of Cameroon through the marking of scripts to evaluate GCE candidates on what they have learned throughout the academic year.
We expect the results to come out without any problems at all. Not a single problem. We have come this far and we want them to go on till the end. We just want results early enough because we're going to begin the academic year in the usual, using the usual time, September.
In his presentation, the registrar of the Cameroon GCE board, Dan Ako Dominique, noted that the marking of GCE scripts will be done in 15 marking centers in Boya and Limbe. The GCE O-level and the technical vocational training exams will be marked in Boya, accommodating 11 centers, with each marker having a ratio of 225 scripts. Meanwhile, the GCE A-level will be marked in Limbe, accommodating 4 centers, with each marker having a ratio of 175 scripts. He went further to indicate that marking guides are already being prepared for the 7,141 examiners to commence with the marking process. We all said the marking of the GCE script by examiners is expected to start immediately in order to ensure that schools resume following the normal academic calendar, that is, in September.
Our Defense Minister Joseph Betty Asomo is currently on a 2-day working visit to Marwa, far north region of Cameroon, to evaluate the level of security of the region. His visit comes after 2 separate attacks perpetrated by the Boko Haram Islamist group, as we hear in the following report. In 72 hours, the Boko Haram Islamist sect has killed 13 soldiers and a civilian, while 13 others have been injured on the Cameroonian soil. On Saturday, July 24th, the Boko Haram sect attacked the Sagme control post in Fotokol, killing 8 soldiers, and on Monday, July 26th, a similar attack in Zige, Logon, and Shara division left 5 soldiers and a civilian dead. Following these deadly attacks, Defense Minister Joseph Betty Asomo is on a 2-day working visit to the far north region to evaluate the security situation of the region and re-strategize on ways to protect citizens, their goods, and the integrity of the entire region. Minister Joseph Betty Asomo was received at the Marwa Salak Airport this morning by security and administrative authorities and is expected to be there for 2 days. Minister Betty Asomo's visit to the far north will focus on evaluating the security situation that has left many displaced and several others dead. He will equally remobilize troops and dish out new strategies that will curb increasing attacks perpetrated by the Islamist sect Boko Haram. The national coordinators for the Civil Peace Service program from 4 African countries are currently meeting in Boya to strategize on possible ways to implement social cohesion. The 5-day seminar in Boya is taking place under the theme CPS Partners, Contribution in Strengthening Social Cohesion in various countries. Details with Crise from Boya.
Social cohesion, the coming together of people from different ethnic communities to share ideas and promote peace, is fast becoming a cause for concern, especially in some troubled African countries. That has led to the problem of IDPs.
The program is coming at this moment, especially as we have the Anglophone crisis. And the Anglophone crisis has also led to another problem of the problem of IDP. And IDPs are oftentimes not accepted in the area of the host communities. And this has posed a challenge to the social cohesion. And again, we think that it will be very important for us to have other national coordinators from Liberia, Sierra Leone, and DRC Congo to come together for them to share experience on how they survive during this type of situation, and how Cameroon partners in Cameroon can also learn, and they can also copy from Cameroon what Cameroonian partners are doing.
Plagued with different crises, these are national coordinator for the Civil Peace Service, CPS, drawn from 4 African countries including Cameroon, DRC Congo, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, who are meeting in Boya to share their experiences on the best way to implement social cohesion in their various communities.
I come from Sierra Leone. I serve as one of the national coordinators for the Civil Peace Service. The aspect of social cohesion seems to be a problem in all of the 4 countries. So for us, it's very important that we come and learn how are the different organizations, what are their interventions, what has worked well, what has not worked well, and we also share ours.
At the level of ISTP, there is inclusion. We admit students from different backgrounds, Francophone, Anglophones, even students out of this country are admitted into our schools.
Presiding over this opening ceremony, the representative of the moderator of the PCC, Reverend Mickey Hans, noted that some of the threats to social cohesion in Cameroon is caused by social, economic, and political instabilities. Thus, all hands need to be put on deck to curb the phenomenon.
Social cohesion, everybody must be involved. Men, women, children. If we stop marginalizing people and make everybody feel important and involved, I think that cohesion will be possible.
Through this CPS program, grassroots communities where social cohesion is threatened are expected to experience a transformation as partner organizations will implement best experiences learned at the end of this training.
Now, Cameroonians residing in Dubai have condemned poor treatment and exorbitant charges levied on them by the Cameroonian consulate in Dubai. This comes shortly after a good number of Cameroonians living in the UAE were unjustly deported following the death of an Emirati. Details with Dolin Gandhi.
Following the murder of an Emirati family by a Cameroonian girl alongside her Nigerian boyfriend in Dubai, which led to the forceful eviction and unjust deportation of many Cameroonians residing in the Arab zone, developing reports say life is getting more and more unbearable for them out there. Recently, a Cameroonian citizen based in Dubai has raised concerns over the way the consulate in Dubai treats its own countrymen in a foreign land. From root staff, downgrading responses, unreplied emails, the issue of the recent biometric passport is also now a call for concern. After paying the requested 110,000 francs Cfa online, the victims say they are further requested to pay an additional 50 dirham just to certify their documents. Meanwhile, an extra 75 dirham is paid for the consular card, plus the obligatory 200 dirham demanded of them as the DHL fee for the passports to be sent from Cameroon. Despite meeting all these requirements, Cameroonians in Dubai say no receipt is issued to acknowledge such payments. Furthermore, it is revealed that the new biometric system, which started on the 1st of July, only commenced in the UAE on the 11th of July, but unfortunately, no passport has been issued so far. And the question of the year is asked, does it mean that the 48-hour period for the production of passports has finally changed from the set 48 hours to now weeks and possibly months? However, knowing how painstaking striving to make ends meet itself is, the complaints are expected to be redressed by the Cameroonian government before things get worse than it is for the diasporans.
Still ahead, about 20 Cameroonians have died in an attempt to cross the Mediterranean Sea and enter Italy. Reports say they were transiting from Tunisia into Italy when their inflatable boat capsized. Allengaged again presents statistics of migrants who died attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea from 2014 to 2021, her report.
These are the images of some 20 Cameroonians who are said to have perished trying to migrate into Italy through the Mediterranean Sea from Tunisia recently.
Don't jump! Don't jump!
Despite the deadly reports recounted yearly from the strips, many youths are ever more poised to brave the odds in a bid to search for greener pastures. According to sources, their inflatable boat reportedly capsized at the heart of the perilous Mediterranean crossing, surmounting to the alarming casualties. Just this year, it is sad to reveal that over 827 migrants have died from January to June while venturing this odd. In 2020, the number of deaths amounted to 1,400, though the accurate number isn't ascertained. Between 2014 and 2018, for instance, about 12,000 people who drowned were never found. Talking about the casualties and missing people, statistics from Statista.com, a German company specialized in market and consumer data, shows that worldwide it was estimated that 8,000 people died in the attempt of fleeing their home countries. And according to estimations, over 5,000 refugees lost their lives in the attempt to reach the European shores in 2016. Therefore, it was concluded that the Mediterranean Sea was the deadliest migration route, and over the last couple of years, it's been proven that the Mediterranean Sea holds the largest number of casualties and missing people. In this journey, which goes even as far as claiming the lives of the bravest, further migration studies reveal that the Mediterranean Sea is crossed by a western, a central, and an eastern route. And out of these routes, the central Mediterranean route was the deadliest. In 2016, roughly 4,600 people lost their lives while pursuing this route. Sadly enough, the identification of bodies is challenging due to the currents of the sea. In 2019, for instance, the vast majority of refugees who drowned in the Mediterranean Sea were not identified and the countries of origin untraceable. Now presenting the numbers of recorded deaths of migrants in the Mediterranean Sea from 2014 to 2021, so far 827 persons have died this year, and in 2020 a total of 1,417 perished. Meanwhile, 1,885 persons were declared dead in 2019, and in 2018 statistics show that 2,299 persons died, emerging from 3,139 who died in 2017. So far, the biggest figures were recorded in 2016, where 5,143 persons were reported dead, slightly different from 2015 statistics of 4,054 persons, which further revealed the deaths of 3,283 persons in 2014. As frightening and shocking as these statistics may be, parents are ever more encouraged to always play an integral role in their children's decision-making, while it is much hoped that the augmentation of the passport price from 75,000 francs to 110,000 francs will greatly go a long way to reduce the death toll.
Now, in what's making news on the African continent, Ireland visited 4 countries and compiled the following report for us.
The Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara and bitter rival Laurent Gbagbo have embraced in their first meeting since the civil war 10 years ago. It is worth recalling that the conflict was ignited by Gbagbo's refusal to admit defeat in an election which led to the death of 3,000 people. Gbagbo, former president of Ivory Coast, returned to the country in June 2021 after the International Criminal Court, ICC, acquitted him over charges of crimes against humanity. But most importantly is the fact that both men have been pushing for peace and reconciliation. On Tuesday, Ouattara welcomed Gbagbo into the presidential palace in the capital Abidjan. Talking to the media after the meeting, Ouattara said the turmoil was behind them, while Gbagbo called for the release of prisoners held since the civil war. Out of the 57 Africans who drowned on Monday after a boat capsized off the Libyan coast near Homs, at least 10 Cameroonians are feared dead in the tragedy in the Mediterranean, where over 1,100 have perished this year, according to the United Nations International Organization for Migration (IOM). Reports say at least 20 women and 2 children were among those who drowned. The migrants from West Africa, who mostly left from Homs, were presumably on their way to Europe. The top appeals court in France is due to rule on a conviction handed to the son of Equatorial Guinea's president for using public money to sponsor his lavish lifestyle. If the decision goes against Théodore Obiang, his assets could be distributed to people living in his home country. It should be revealed that Mr. Obiang, Equatorial Guinea's vice president, was first convicted in France in 2017. However, Britain imposed sanctions on him for corruption last week. But officials in Equatorial Guinea said the measures were based on lies and warned it will close its embassy in London. The African Union (AU) has added its voice to that of the European Union and the US in calling for dialogue and calm in Tunisia after the president sacked government officials and suspended parliament. It urged Tunisia to respect its constitution and reject violence. Note should be taken here that AU Commission Chairperson Moussa Faki Mahamat had a conversation on phone with Tunisia's foreign minister in which he reiterated the need for the government to respond to the aspirations of its people. Meantime, a spokesperson of the EU Commission urged all actors to respect Tunisia's constitution and called for calm. However, the country's foreign minister reassured his Turkish, Italian, French and German counterparts that the actions taken by the president were just temporary.
Eileen Summers report ends today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime Television that was compiled by Fifth Tata. The news was produced by A1 and Nolinga Ella. My name is Fon Quinta. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Kumluna. Stay with us. Good night.